The race to become our city's next public advocate appears to be in full swing now, with new candidates jumping into the race seemingly by the day. And that's before we even know exactly when the election will take place. Our Bobby Kuza joins me now with a snapshot of the race. Good evening, Bobby.
Good evening. And there are about 24 candidates right now for public advocate. It sounds like a joke, but right now that's the field. It will probably thin out as this process plays out. And the way it works is Letitia James, the current public advocate, will be sworn in as the new state attorney general on January 1st. The mayor then calls a special election within 3 days. At that point, candidates have just 12 days to collect 3,750 signatures from registered voters in order to get on the ballot. Now, that'll likely weed out some people, but for now, the field is almost literally growing by the day. Just in the past few days, Queens City Councilman Eric Ulrich, Manhattan Councilman Adonis Rodriguez, and Queens Assemblyman Ron Kim have all officially announced. We also learned this week that Curtis Sliwa, who's familiar to our viewers, is also pursuing a run. Meanwhile, former City Council Speaker Melissa Mark Viverito released another campaign video today. She is by far the most well-funded candidate, at least for now, with $336,000 in campaign cash available, and that's because she has that left over from previous campaigns, but it is really hard right now to tell exactly how much money each candidate has. They won't actually have to file with the city's campaign finance board until January 15th. So we don't know what they've been spending, and we don't even necessarily know how much they have left over from previous campaigns. Not all of that is eligible for this race. There's city matching funds. It's kind of a mess when it comes to the fundraising.
And my understanding, they're going to have to each raise, well, if you want to get into the matching program, you're going to have to raise like $125,000. That's a lot of money to do very quickly.
And interestingly, the city council is actually going to try to pass a bill to change the law kind of in keeping with that ballot question that was just passed in the election in order to lower that threshold and make it easier for these candidates to get money.
Okay, very interesting. And now for anybody who's running, they make assumptions about how many people are going to come out in the snows of February for this one position. How many votes it would take to win depends on whether you get the most of whatever comes out. What's the thinking about how many people are likely to vote?
Right, and I mean, this is unprecedented to have a citywide special election like this. We all know turnout in citywide elections is very low. It could be freezing cold in February. People don't really know all that much about the public advocate position. And if you look at 2017, when there was a primary in September of that year, that was when we had the mayoral race, there was 464,000 voters who came out. You got to figure it's going to be less than that.
Wow.
And there's so many candidates. I mean, you have 20-some candidates, and these are not all lightweights, right? I mean, there's 8 current elected officials, so these people are going to get votes.
Sure.
And if they split up the vote, you could win with 15% of the total, and that might only be like 50, 60, 70,000 votes.
Wow. For
a position that is second in line to the mayor. So
okay. Very interesting.
It's going to be an interesting race, and we don't even know the date, but it'll probably be about mid-February when this election.
Right. It has to be declared within 3 days of the seat being vacant, and then it has to take place within 45 days. Right.
After
so
that,
yeah, mid-February. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks very much, Bobby Kuza.